When I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, my buddies and I would do anything for each other. That's important whether you're in a firefight or fighting to regain your life. When I came home injured, there are people I can count on, like DAV.
DAV, Disabled American Veterans, stands behind America's veterans to make their transition back home easier with free services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
Ooh, I like when you press that one.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network for the 2022 season, and we are off and swimming in some parts of the state, especially in the Grand Strand PD Low Country area where the weather played havoc with the first games of the high school football season. Many of them postponed, some of them canceled. We'll go over all that for you in just a little bit. Other parts of the state, Midlands and upper states, other parts of the state able to stay dry, and we've got football scores to share with you, and we'll hear from some reporters at games, and we'll try to catch up with some coaches at well. But let's welcome in our analyst for the High School Football Scoreboard for yet another season. We call him Bib, short for Best in Business, from the Post and Courier and the High School Sports Report. Ordinarily, he'd be on a sideline tonight, but his game got washed out. We welcome in David Shelton to the High School Scoreboard once again. David, great to have you with us. I know you'd like to be soaking wet and maybe a little chilly on a sideline somewhere, but I guess you're tucked away at home and nice and dry until tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually prefer this, to be honest with you. I don't know about the soaking wet and cold on the sidelines, but I'll tell you what, at Goose Creek, it rained and rained and rained and rained some more. And they're going to try to play tomorrow night at 6:00. But I tell you, that was one hell of a storm. There is no doubt about it.
Well, I'm also down here in the PD Grand Strand area along the coast, and it did rain pretty much all day long, and the water was flooding, and they were calling for flash flood warnings around here, and standing water everywhere. And even these new stadiums with the new turf surfaces, I mean, they can only drain so much. And then again, the other thought is the gate. The schools do not want to lose a gate to bad weather, and they don't want people coming out, or very few people coming out to watch their teams play. So they put it off for another day.
Yeah, and I think the lightning was the big factor down here tonight. I think without lightning, Goose Creek and South Florence could have got started late. But as soon as they got ready to think about coming out, it was lightning again, and there was another cell coming that way, and they just said forget it. But you're right. I think this would have been a really good game with a pretty good crowd. There was a good many people there. But maybe if the weather cooperates tomorrow, and I hear tomorrow is kind of iffy as well, as the front kind of stalls. But if they can play tomorrow night, it'll be a good night for football and good game.
Yeah. I've seen where some schools have just flat out canceled the game that was supposed to be played tonight, not even going to try and make it up tomorrow. What do you think it is there with schools deciding just to go ahead and call off the game? I mean, I know these are all non-region games, but it is a game and a chance to play, even waiting until possibly, Sunday or Monday. What do you think goes into the decision just to flat call off a game and not even try to play it?
Well, I think it's money. I think, you take, for instance, Cane Day, gassed up some buses and went all the way to Beaufort, didn't play. They don't want to gas them up again tomorrow and take a chance of not being able to play. So, like you said, it's a non-region game. You just move past it. Georgetown and Hanahan are not going to make their game up. Probably the same reason. It costs a lot of money now. I mean, gas isn't cheap. And it costs a lot of money to, you got to feed the team again. You got to do all that stuff. So I think it's just, for teams that have to go more than an hour and a half to 2 hours, I think it makes sense that they don't try to play it. Now, if it were a conference game, obviously there wouldn't be a long trip involved. If it were a playoff game, you do it. But week 0, I don't think it's that important. But what it does do now, like Cane Bay's already advertising, because they have a built-in week 3 bye, and they're already advertising on Twitter that they need a game for week 3 because they don't want to miss 2 games. So that does become a problem. If you have another bye week and you could end up with only a 9-game schedule, but that's kind of the risk you take. And I tweeted this out, and I've been a proponent of this for many, many years, as you well know. I don't know why we start. I don't know why we start the season so early. I don't know why we can't wait another 2 weeks and start after Labor Day like they used to, and you get a better chance of less storms. You got a better chance for the heat to be a little bit different. I think this. This is every year. Now COVID was a different animal. I mean, we're taking COVID out of the equation, but even before COVID, we were getting a lot of week 0 rainouts and pushbacks and all that. I just think we start the season too early.
Yeah. Do you think maybe if you pushed it back a couple of weeks, are you then asking to play the playoffs, the final rounds deeper in December, and that affects the All-Star games, the Touchstone Energy Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, or do you eliminate an off week in there? I mean, how do you make it fit in the calendar?
Well, you do push it back a week. You eliminate the off week and you push it back a week. And if that means you play 9 regular season games, but you play all your region games, I mean, let's face it, the games that matter are the ones in your region. You can go 0-4, 0-5 in your non-region and still make the playoffs. Now that's a whole nother story for a whole nother night. But still, I mean, if you're gonna miss games like tonight, so you're not playing, and then you have a built-in bye week already, and you don't get a game there, you're only playing 9 games anyway. So you might push it back a week, but now this is me, and I probably don't make a lot of people happy. I don't care about the All-Star games. I don't. I mean, to me, they're not All-Star games. They're let's see how many kids we can get in the game that don't deserve to be there, and let's play the games and blah blah blah. Move that back past Christmas. I don't care. But I just don't. I don't like the season starting in mid-August. That's just I don't know how you fix it. Maybe if you start next week, you eliminate week 0 and you start next week, maybe it's a better chance. But I know for many, many years we started after Labor Day, and somehow or another we still got done before Christmas. So, I know it can be done because it's been done.
All right, David, let's jump to some scores. And as we jump to some scores, let's go ahead and get to reporters standing out in the fields tonight. It's drier in the upstate than it is anywhere else in the state of South Carolina. And I'm happy for this young man joining us with the first report of the season. His major league team might be in last place, but he's in first place in the reporting racing here on Sports Talk on the high school football scoreboard. Kevin Selzman, the voice of T.L. Hanna High School. And the Yellow Jackets opening up against Boiling Springs tonight, Kevin. And it was all T.L. Hanna. Great to have you back with us, and welcome back to the high school football scoreboard.
Well, thank you, Phil. Glad to be there. Bear with me as I navigate my way out of Jim Frazier Field here. I know Coach Frazier was a close friend of mine and yours as well. So, big night for the Yellow Jackets as they defeated the Bulldogs from Boiling Springs 43-0, and a game that we went into not really knowing much of anything. I mean, the Jackets graduated 42 seniors last year, which is unheard of. I've never heard of a high school team having that many seniors, but 42 seniors left, and the Jackets look good tonight, impressive on both sides of the football. There's a few special teams errors they can correct, but overall a big night for the Jackets.
Okay, what about offensively? Who are going to be some of the stars this year?
Well, so far, after one game, the obvious star tonight for the Jackets was Naquilin Alexander. He had probably 150-ish type yards tonight and a couple of touchdowns. A junior running back that didn't see a lot of playing time last year because, like I said earlier, the Jackets had 42 seniors and a lot of production at the running back position. And we run the ball a lot. We call it on the air. We call it phone booth football because you don't know where the ball's going and which direction it's going. And, that also makes trouble for the Jackets finding opponents. We only have 4 home games this year because we had trouble finding folks to play us. But when it runs, when it works like it's supposed to do, it's an art, and it's a beauty to watch happen.
Yeah, why don't you guys play Dutch Fork? They were having trouble finding opponents.
Well, I can't speak for Coach Stone, but I can promise you that I know he would play them. So I don't know why we're not, but we've got a tough one coming up next week as we travel over to Serene Stadium to play the Red Raiders from Greenville, a team that we haven't played since I've been broadcasting with Hannah. So it's not a new opponent. We've played in years past, but it's been a while since we played the Red Raiders, and looking forward to that next week. And hopefully the Jackets can improve to 2-0 and have a little better start to the season than my Red Sox did.
I like it where your Red Sox are. They're right where they need to be, and I'm happy for you and your TL Hannah Yellow Jackets getting off to a great start. And we thank you for leading off the reports this year on the scoreboard. We'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate that, Phil, and sure will. We'll call in next week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Kevin Selman, voice of the TL Hannah Yellow Jackets. All right, off to a great start, TL Hannah, David. That program turned a few years ago, and they are not looking back. And as he pointed out, their offense, so unique in this era of football, the way they just want to run the football, run it until you can stop it if you can.
Yeah, they like to be physical up front, and they pound you with the football. And, that is an amazing number. To lose 42 seniors, that's most teams don't even have 42 players. So to have that many seniors, and then just kind of reload, and they got a tough schedule. I mean, Greenville's going to be a tough game for them next week, and Hillcrest in that region will be probably the team to beat. But certainly, Coach Stone has carried on what Coach Herron had started with that offense, and those kids now, they kind of believe, and you see it every year. I mean, every year the really good teams lose a lot of really good players, and they just come back and they're good again. But that's what's called a program. They're not one-hit wonders. They build these kids from the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, in the 10th grade, and then when they're by the time they're juniors, they've been in the program 4 or 5 years. They might be first-time varsity players, but they're 4-year football players.
All right, let's hit our first break, and we'll come back and go through all the scores that are coming in across the state of South Carolina. And we'll also get more reports in from reporters around the state. I know Billy Baker was at the Abbeville game tonight. Abbeville was a big winner, so we'll hear from Billy and other reporters. And more of the analysis from David Shelton. We'll also try and connect with some coaches as well tonight as we move on through the evening. We're with you till midnight with the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union, and we're back in a moment.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. Futurescholar.com.
Score a touchdown with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and the Founders app, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is easy. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Relax with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
We are back on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblue, David Shelton, along with Pat Daniel. And let's give you a quick rundown of the scores that we have in to the moment, and we'll be updating them as we move along. So these are all finals. Liberty beat Carolina 17-6. Clinton 55, Batesburg, Leesville 20. Heathwood Hall last night over Great Falls 43-0. Hillcrest 41, Lawrence 7. More on that coming up. Abbeville 40, McCormick 3, Pendleton 41, and Dixie 9. St. Joseph's 43, Fox Creek 7, TL Hanna 43, Boiling Springs 0. Whitmire beat Ware Shoals 16-6. Move to the Midlands. It was Swansea 19, Airport 6, Bamberg Earhart 34, Eddystone 0. Hillian 47, Bethune Bowman 22. They played yesterday. Camden, how about this one over Myrtle Beach? 42-13. We'll talk with David about that one coming up. C.A. Johnson 22, Columbia 6. Dutch Fork last night beat Huff of North Carolina 27-24. Irmo 22, Chapin 11. Lucy Beckham 24, Lake Marion 0. Sumter High 42, Lakewood 9. You may or may not have heard that Sumter lost their outstanding defensive end who's committed to USC, Montague Rames. He has transferred to Manning. Still Sumter going to have a great defense and an excellent team. They beat Lakewood 42-9. Laney of Georgia over Strom Thurmond, shutout, score of 16-0. Saluda over Mid Carolina 42-7. Ridgeview tops Blythewood 21-14. South Aiken over Silver Bluff 36-14. It was White Knoll 21, Orangeburg Wilkinson 12, and Barnwell last night all over Williston Elko by a score of 47-6. PD Grand Strand final scores in overtime. Wilson 27, Ainer 26, Carolina Forest 56, West Brunswick 27, Hartsville 41, Conway 17, Louisville 44, East Clarendon 0, Manning and Kingstree postponed to tomorrow. Lake City defeats Lawrence Manning 20-7. Yesterday, Marion all over Lakeview 58-14. Loris shut out Green Sea Floyds 24-0. McBee 19, Hannah-Pamplico 14. North Myrtle Beach and Socastee postponed until tomorrow. To the Low Country, and you'll hear a lot of postponements and cancellations here. Canceled, Cane Bay Beaufort, Stall Burke, Denmark Oler First Baptist, Georgetown, and Hanahan. Let me go back and scratch that Denmark Oler First Baptist. No, that's correct. Denmark Oler did play, was scheduled for First Baptist. And Georgetown Hanahan canceled. Moved to Saturday, we got South Florence and Goose Creek, St. John's and James Island, Military Magnet and North Charleston, and Berkeley Timberland, and moved to Monday, Porter Goud and Bishop England. One final, New Hampstead of Georgia beat May River 47-27. We go to Skeeza, and we've got College and Prep over Florence Christian 26-8. Patrick Henry shuts out Cross Schools 33-0. All right, that's what we got in thus far as getting them on the sheet. We'll update more scores as we move along. David, was I right about that First Baptist Denmark Oler? That is who First Baptist was playing, correct?
Yeah, and they're not rescheduling. That's a canceled game.
That is a cancellation. Okay, very good. We go to Doug Holliday, the voice of Lawrence High School. Lawrence taking on Hillcrest. Lawrence had a great year last year, playing a really good Hillcrest team tonight, Doug. And, boy, the Rams must have played extremely well because they handled you guys pretty handily tonight. Is Doug with us?
Hello.
Hey, Doug, how are you?
Doing great. Score a little misleading, Phil. 41-7 the final. Raider defense didn't play as bad as it might look. Hillcrest scored on a blocked punt return for a touchdown. They scored on a kickoff return for a touchdown, which kind of twisted the momentum early in the game. Raiders actually scored first and went up 7-0, and then Hillcrest returned the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown, made it 7-7. It was 14-7 at the end of the first quarter, and then don't have an explanation, but Bennett Judy, the outstanding Hillcrest quarterback, didn't play in the second quarter. So it was 14-7 at the half, but he came back out, and he's as good as advertised. Threw for 200, I believe, and 46 yards, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. He's every bit as good as advertised. And, Hillcrest just pulled away in the second half. Raiders with a lot of open and night mistakes that Hillcrest just didn't make, and it was Hillcrest night, no doubt about it. But I have every reason to believe that the Raiders are going to be contenders in 4A before the season's over.
Oh, no question. You guys had a terrific year last year. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys maybe got out of the gate a little slowly last year, but then you caught fire and had a nice run. Yep. Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah, won 5 out of the last 6 in the regular season, then went up to easily and won the first playoff game, and then ran into South Point in the second round and got eliminated up in Rock Hill. But again, good feeling that this team's going to be a contender in 4A.
What did you like most about that quarterback from Wade Hampton? You talked about him and his numbers. Is he a big guy? Does he stand in the pocket? Is he a guy that runs around? Tell us about him.
Judy is 6'3". I think he can run when he has to. That's the good thing. He stands back there, he throws, got a great arm, very accurate. But if you get some pressure on him, he can roll out of there, and he can either run it or he'll find a receiver on you and beat you deep. So he's got all the tools in the world. I've heard them say he's getting some interest, but no school in particular as far as colleges go that might be looking at him. But he's a good football player.
Who do you guys have next week?
Next week's the biggie. We go over to Wilder Stadium and take on the Cleveland Red Devils, who got off to a good start tonight. But that'll be a good one. First time I've been over to Wilder in 4 years. I know they've done a lot of remodeling, but I haven't seen it because our trip over there in 2020 got wiped out because of COVID. So anxious to get over there and check that out and see our good friend and your sponsor, Buddy Bridges. He'll be on the headset on the Cleveland radio.
There you go. Well, he had a good call tonight because they won handily, and Monty Dutton will be checking in with that story in a little bit. Doug, thank you.
Yep.
Great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, Phil, would like to say we're proud that WLBG is now one of the affiliates of the Scoreboard Show on Friday night.
Oh, we're so excited about that. Great to have you guys on board with us, and always appreciate you giving us a call and giving us the update. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Doug. Doug Holliday, voice of Lawrence High School. All right, David. Well, that's a very good win for Hillcrest. How good's this quarterback? Is this guy going to be one of those guys that maybe he's off the recruiting radar, but he's going to post some kind of numbers out there this season?
Oh yeah, he's going to be a 3,000-yard guy. They depend on him quite a bit at Hillcrest. It's kind of not sure why. Recruiting is. I've quit trying to figure it out. I mean, this kid's got all the tools. He's got a big arm, big body, very athletic kid, very accurate. His coach loves him, obviously. And but you're gonna see numbers out of this guy. I mean, I want to say he went for 3,000 yards last year, and he's a major part of the Hillcrest offense. And this Hillcrest team is really good. This is a team that's going to go deep into the playoffs.
All right, let's give you some more finals. Then we'll come back and talk about Myrtle Beach and Camden. Commerce, Georgia, which must be pretty good, beat Southside Christian, which is good, as we know, 21-17. Dreer. Congratulations to Corey Jenkins. First game as a head coach, and he gets a W. Beats Keenan 29-22. David, real quick on Corey and what he might do there at Dreer over time, coaching at his alma mater.
Well, I think what he brings to him is obviously knowledge and experience, and his kids can respect him. They're a program that's had some good seasons, haven't been able to be real consistent over the years, and that'll be the challenge for Corey, is not to win one game or win 5 games, but to consistently be in that 8, 9, 10 win I don't know if they're capable of doing that right now, but I think this is a good win for them because Keenan's a quality team. This is not one of those wins where you say, well, they should have won. This is a win that is an impressive win.
Yeah. Pat Daniel tells us Commerce, Georgia went 6-5 last season, so they must have some good parts back from that team. West Florence beat Lexington. Exciting game here, 31-28. Seneca over Wade Hampton of Greenville, 42-19, that final score. Powdersville, very good team again, 47-23 over Broome. Palmetto beats Woodmont 27-14. Spring Valley tops Westwood, doubles them up 36-18. River Bluff over Lugoff Elgin 42-13. We're back in a moment.
Hi, this is Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stayin' Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the WellPoint Foundation.
What can I possibly do to make this stressful time a little better? Here's one thing I found. It's a small thing, a simple thing, a remarkable thing. Smile. You can share a smile from more than 6 feet apart. You can share it socially with the whole world. In fact, right now, I'm smiling at you. And I hope you're smiling back, because smiling is in you. From PassItOn.com.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. A Michigan judge blocked county prosecutors from enforcing a pre-Roe v. Wade abortion ban that would have allowed providers to be charged with a felony. The preliminary injunction follows a state court of appeals ruling this month. After a May preliminary injunction applies only to the Attorney General's office and not to county prosecutors who handle most criminal cases. Former Vice President Mike Pence says he did not take any classified information with him when he left office. Mr. Pence made the comment during an interview today in Iowa, just a week and a half after the FBI seized classified and top secret information during a raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. A British man nicknamed one of the Beatles by his captors because of his English accent has been sentenced to life in prison for his role in the deaths of 4 U.S. hostages captured by the Islamic State. SRN News.
I've been talking about the people at Stone Interiors from the very beginning. They did the incredible granite counters, the beautiful granite tabletop in my home. Our kitchen is our focal point of our house. The countertops are just gorgeous. When I talk about a local company with tremendous ethics, great workmanship, someone who sees a project through from start to finish, I'm describing Stone Interiors. So have you thought about some granite or marble countertops? What about a backsplash in your kitchen? You want to retile that bathroom? Did you know you can actually go online to stoneinteriors.com, go through their visualizer software, and design your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom project? It is so cool. If that's not for you and you want to visit their showroom, they'd love to have you come out and visit at Stone Interiors, or they can even come to you when it's convenient. For more than 20 years, Stone Interiors has done this thing the right way. Call them, 461-8950 to make an appointment, or visit them at stoneinteriors.com. That's 461-8950 or stoneinteriors.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Fran Halloran here. Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local to partner with him in 2022 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
There's hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's 20 of them. Walk to work, walk the dog, have the dog walk you, take a hike, take a bike, skate, dance, hop, jump, do the Humpty Hump, skip seconds, skip dessert, skip to my lube, don't skip breakfast, drink H2O, lower your sodium, raise the roof, shake your booty, stock up on vegetables, and don't forget to eat them. Search We Can online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
We are back on the high school football scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union and the Full Corn Loop, joined by our main man, David Shelton, and in our studio in Columbia, he is Pat Daniel. We'll take you through all the scores. Got to drop this one on you real quick, and then we'll hear from Monty Dutton. Then we'll update all the scores. David, Northwestern Rock Hill, which, of course, used to be like the kingpin game of the year in South Carolina. Not so much anymore, but Northwestern beat Rock Hill tonight 89-13. 89-13.
Yeah, I think they scored on their first 13 possessions, and but they're pretty good. And Rock Hill's going to have a tough year, but I don't think anybody saw that coming. I mean, I thought Northwestern was considerably better, but when you score on 13 straight possessions, that's high efficiency offense there, buddy.
No doubt about it. And this one's gone final. Dorman and Greenville High, one of the great matchups of the night. But Dorman flexing the old muscles there, beating Greenville with all that talent, 53-28, David. Dorman gets win number 1 in the new era with their new coach.
Well, Dorman's got some talent too, and they got a big offensive line, and Demarius Foster's a really good running back. I think he went over 300 yards tonight.
Ooh.
So Dorman is going to be Dorman. They're not going to fall off a whole lot. And this Greenville team, you know, they got some deficiencies on defense. They did lose some guys, but I still think they're going to be pretty good going down the stretch. And you know, they'll have a tough game next week with Hannah.
Oh yeah, that's going to be one heck of a ball game too. Over at Serene, right? They playing at Serene Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what Kevin told us. All right, more scores coming up in a moment, but Clinton opened the season. Of course, Red Devils had such a big year last year, and they're picking back up on it. Big offensive night, 55-20 over Batesburg Leesville. We welcome in the great, dominating voice of Lawrence County. Not just a voice, but with the pen. Nothing's more powerful than the pen. Monty Dutton with us here, the full Monty on the high school scoreboard with the story. Hello, sir.
Hey, it was a great deal of movement up and down the field tonight at Wilder Stadium. This is the kickoff. Clinton is celebrating the 50th anniversary of its 1972 state championship with Kevin Long and Robert Scott and Charles Norman, sort of the beginning of the modern era of success. And so they won 55-20 over Leesville in a bit sort of a familiar game because Greg Larson, the first-year coach at Batesburg Leesville, is a former head coach at Lawrence. And before that, both Clinton's Corey Fountain and Greg Lawson were on the J.R. Boyd staff at Lawrence. So this was a visit. These guys know each other. But Clinton had too much. Bryson James had 4 rushing touchdowns for the Red Devils, and it was 35-20 at half, but the Clinton defense gave up only 1 touchdown because Batesburg Leesville's other scores were on a kickoff return and an interception return of a middle screen. So it was only 35-20 late in the second half, but it was all Clinton. And Clinton has a remarkably diverse running game. I referred to it in a story as being an endless running back buffet because they have four pretty prolific running backs, of which James is there. But Fulton is a very high-powered team, and they made a few mistakes, but they looked overwhelmingly strong, really.
And the defense must have played pretty well as well.
They did it, and I have to tell you that you have to. I imagine that Batesburg Leeds will eventually, that's a school with a lot of history, and they've probably been more impaired by COVID the last 2 years than anybody because they only played 13 games in the last 2 years, and so they're on the comeback trail. They'll be all right, But Clinton was just, there's a lot of anticipation in this town this year, and that's about probably what it's at. And Lawrence comes to town next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, how big is that next week?
Well, it's really big, but I guess Lawrence got thumped pretty well tonight by Hillcrest. But Lawrence has a really good quarterback, James Rawl, and it'll be a different type of game. But Clinton won't play a different type of game because Clinton can throw the ball, but they don't have to very often.
Yeah. They want to do what Corey Fountain has always done in his success as a head coach, and that's just line up and beat you with the run.
They also play so much misdirection. If a guy is sitting on the sidelines taking pictures, they often fake me out. But their offense, I think for people who think passing is exciting, the way Clinton runs the ball is very exciting. It's a big play. There's a lot of long runs in the Clinton offense.
Monty, we thank you as always. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Enjoyed it, Phil. Appreciate you calling me.
Thank you. As always, the one and only Monty Dutton with us on the high school football scoreboard. Let's get the story on Dorman's big win over Greenville tonight. We welcome into the program the better-looking member of the Smith broadcast family from up in the Spartanburg area, Alex Smith, with the story of the Dorman win over Greenville. Of course, he's the brother of our own Matt Smith. Alex, it's good to have you with us, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, Phil. Thanks so much for having me on tonight. Really excited. Tonight was a great start to the Dustin Curtis era up here at Dorman High School. They come away with a 53-28 win over Greenville, and Dorman kind of flexed their muscles. They've got a big, strong offensive line, and their run game tonight was pretty unstoppable.
It sounds like it, and I know they have a nice, big offensive line. You got one going to South Carolina. You got one going to North Carolina off that offensive line. Will that be their plan all season to line up behind Anderson and Geth and the rest of those offensive linemen?
That appears to be the plan moving forward tonight. The Cavaliers only attempted 10 passes in the ball game tonight, 0 pass attempts in the second half. They were so efficient in the run game as a team, 381 yards on the ground tonight on just 31 carries. Senior running back Demarius Foster was outstanding. He finished the night with 306 yards rushing on 20 carries to go along with 3 touchdowns. That's 15 yards a carry for their lead tailback tonight. They just created some holes, and he took advantage, made some people miss on the second level, and Greenville just had no answer once Dorman got some momentum. Really, the only problem for the Cavaliers tonight was a bit of, I don't know if it was first game jitters or nerves, but the penalties. They shot themselves in the foot. 14 penalties for 108 yards on the Cavaliers. They had 11 penalties in the first half, and this game was tight. They cleaned some things up in the second half, and they were able to pull away.
Wow, and of course, defense important too. And, I mean, this is a very good Greenville offense with I know they have to replace their quarterback, but they've got Mazio Bennett at wide receiver and some other good players. What did Dorman do? How did they attack them defensively?
Well, they made some adjustments. Greenville actually was moving the ball very well in the first half. Their sophomore quarterback, Jordan Stink, was really efficient, but they didn't take a lot of shots downfield. It was a lot of quick outs and a lot of quick screens to those talented receivers. But Dorman was much better tackling in the open field from the second quarter on. And then once they made some adjustments, probably at the end of the first quarter, and started mixing up their blitz packages, it caused the sophomore quarterback to get a little antsy and get rid of the ball a little too quickly sometimes. and Dorman was just able to use their athleticism and speed and be able to gang tackle and just force Greenville on Greenville's scoring drives. I believe each of their scoring drives was well over 10 plays. They just couldn't get any big plays against this defense. And then Dorman was able to bust off big plays whenever they had the ball, and they were able to pull away in the second half.
And who's up next for Dorman?
Dorman is on the road at North Augusta next Friday night. So first road game for Coach Dustin Curtis and the Cavaliers.
Very good. Hey, we appreciate it. Look forward to hearing from you throughout the season. Have a great season the rest of the way. We appreciate the update.
Thanks so much, Phil. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Alex. Alex Smith from up in Spartanburg with the story of the win by Dorman over Greenville High. Daniel has beaten Greer 51-21. Calhoun Academy over Conway Christian 33-6. Let me jump back into the scoreboard and run through these finals now that we have plotted on our sheets in the upstate. It was Buford 41, Blacksburg 6, Blue Ridge 42, Chesney 37, Powdersville 47, Broome 23, Northside Christian 22, Calhoun Falls 7, Liberty 17, Carolina 6, Clinton 55, Batesburg Leesville 20, Dorman 53, Greenville 28, West Oak 9, Fountain Inn 6, Heathwood Hall 43, Great Falls nothing from last night, Hillcrest 41, Lawrence 7, Abbeville 40, McCormick 3, Indianland 25, Nation Ford 8. It was Emerald 35, 96, 28, Northwestern 89, Rock Hill 13, Palmetto 27, Woodmont 14, Pendleton 41, Dixie 9. Commerce of Georgia beat Southside Christian 21-17, St. Joseph's 43, Fox Creek 7, T.L. Hanna 43, Boiling Springs nothing, Seneca 42, Wade Hampton 19, and Whitmire 16, Ware Shoals 6. To the Midlands, where it was Swansea over Airport 19-6, Bamberg Earhart 34, Edisto nothing, Pillion 47, Bethune-Bowman 22. Game was played last night. It was Camden over Myrtle Beach 42-13, C.A. Johnson 22, Columbia 6, Dutch Fork over Huff of North Carolina last night 27-24, Irmo 22, Chapin 11, Dreer 29, Keenan 22. Lucy Beckham 24, Lake Marion nothing. Sumter 42, Lakewood 9. Laney of Georgia 16, Strom Thurmond nothing. River Bluff 42, Lugoff Elgin 13. Union County scored a 30-14 win over Newberry, while Ridgeview down Blythewood 21-14. Saluda 42, Mid Carolina 7. South Aiken 36, Silver Bluff 14. It was Spring Valley 36, Westwood 18. White Knoll 21, Orangeburg Wilkinson 12, and Barnwell over Wilson Elko 47-6. Round the PD, Grand Strand in overtime, Wilson 27, Ainer 26, Carolina Forest 56, West Brunswick, North Carolina 27, Hartsville 41, Conway 17, Louisville 44, East Clarendon nothing, Johnsonville 39, North Central 8. It was Lake City over Lawrence Manning 20-7. Marion 58, Lakeview 14 played last night. Loris 24, Greensea Floyd's nothing. Magby down Hannah-Pamplico 19-14. And West Florence edged Lexington in a thriller 31-28. Manning and Kingstree, Socastee at North Myrtle Beach. Games postponed until Saturday. Around the Low Country, not much to report score-wise. We've got New Hampstead of Georgia 47, May River 27. Canceled games, Cane Bay Beaufort, Stahl Burke, Denmark Oler First Baptist, Georgetown Hanahan. Rescheduled for Saturday, South Florence Goose Creek, St. John's James Island, Military Magnet North Charleston, Berkeley, Timberland, Lower Richland, West Ashley. David, have you heard any other scores from the Low Country? For example, Gray Collegiate and Oceanside, did they play? Have you heard anything more about games down there?
They did not play. They're going to play tomorrow. I think he said Lucy Beckham beat Lake Marion, and
Yes.
and Pinewood Prep lost to Buford Academy 41-20. So, to my knowledge, that's all that was played down in this area. Everything else was either canceled or moved.
So you said Buford beat Pinewood Prep 41-20?
Buford Academy.
Buford Academy, yes, over Pinewood Prep.
And,
Yep, 41.
And Porter-Gaud and Bishop England have moved their game to Monday. They're going to play Monday night.
All right. Patrick Henry beat Cross Schools 33-0, and Colleton Prep beat Florence Christian 26-8. All right, that's what we've got so far. We'll continue to add more scores to the board and bring them back to you after the break. Hopefully more reports will come rolling in, and we're going to try and catch up with some coaches as well as we continue on the inaugural edition of the High School Football Scoreboard for 2022. It's brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. It stars David Shelton and Pat Daniel, and I'm just here for the ride. It also stars our reporters from the field. We've already heard from Alex Smith and Monty Dutton, and we've also heard from Doug Holliday and from Kevin Selman. And we'll hear from others coming up. We're with Major Billy Downer of DNR. Of course, hunting is very popular across the state of South Carolina. Major Downer, what things should our hunters be thinking about before they get out in the fields?
It seems like every other show we're talking about hunting safety of some sort. Whether it's turkey season or deer season, hunters always need to be aware of their target. Make sure before you pull that trigger that you know what you're looking at. Whether it's a turkey during turkey season or a deer during deer season, you know your identifying features of your game. You know what's beyond that target in case you miss.
Learn more about the great outdoors in South Carolina with Major Billy Downer on SC Wild here on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
All right, a few more finals just coming in. Woodruff over Chapman. Good ball game. Woodruff wins it 13-7. That's a good win for the Wolverines. Burns blasts Brooklyn Casey back to Columbia 62-7. J.O. Mann over Eastside 56-14. Catawba Ridge over Fort Mill 31-7. And we also have Calhoun Academy 33, Conway Christian 6. Lamar and Hemingway postponed until 6 o'clock on Saturday. Back to the phones we go, back to the fields. Lou Bajak from the States and GoGamecocks.com and thestate.com. He was at Blythewood and Ridgeview tonight, one of the better games in the Midlands. He joins us now. Lou, thank you for joining us. How are you? Hello, Mr. Lou.
Corn, I'm still having issues from these storms, I think. I keep losing callers. Bear with me 1 second. See what's going on.
That's quite all right. We'll bring David. As long as you don't lose David, we'll be okay. So we'll bring David back in while you get Lou on the line. And as soon as we get Lou on the line.
I do have another score. Someone just texted me. St. John's Christian Academy, 34. King's Academy, 14.
All right. St. John's Christian, 34-14?
Yes.
All right, very good.
So so that was another game played here in the Low Country.
Okay, all right, very good. Are we connected with Lou yet, or not? Waiting to hear from Pat. I guess he's trying to get them connected. So while we wait for that, David, let's go back into. Well, he is ready. Okay, Lou, can you hear me?
Yeah, Phil. How you doing, man?
Hey, we're doing fine. How was the weather? I'm down here at the coast, and we know it's been bad down here. How was it back in Columbia?
It was fine. There's a little bit of sprinkles, but that's about it. It was good weather and a decent football game. It wasn't the best. It was the first game, that's for sure.
Well, give us a few of the details of the game you saw.
Yeah, okay. 2 touchdown passes for Donald Tomlin for Ridgeview. He transferred from Heathwood Hall. Had a big touchdown pass to Zion Agnew early in the first half, and then a big one that put them up 21-7 to Chris Lawson. He was all right. Obviously, it's coming over from Heathwood Hall, kind of a big adjustment for him. So definitely was a little tough for him right there, but Ridgeview's defense really played well. They had a defensive touchdown, forced 3 turnovers. Blythewood, a couple big mistakes, couldn't finish off a couple of drives. They got inside Ridgeview territory. So definitely we'll have both teams have a lot to build on, but a good win for Ridgeview, beating a rival in their opener.
Oh, absolutely. What about this Agnew kid, the receiver for Ridgeview? I think he's committed to Appalachian, or East Carolina. East Carolina, is it? No, he's committed somewhere. A good receiver in your eyes?
Yeah, he's a real good receiver. He had a 77-yard touchdown pass. He had a big kick return, and yeah, a couple big plays. And Lawson's the one going to App, and he had that big touchdown catch on to put him up 21-7. So they're loaded at receiver. They throw him Adonis McDaniel, and he's pretty good. So I think offensively they'll get it going, and their defense really played well, forcing the turnovers and coming up big with 3 or 4 stops inside the 30.
As you put your stuff together in the States, in the state.com, around the Midlands, results tonight, what's catching your eye? What games, other games kind of stood out to you? What performances kind of impressed you the most?
I think Camden beat Myrtle Beach like they did. We're really impressive. I know Camden's lost a lot on offense, and we know what they got on defense with McLeod and Jones, but to beat Myrtle Beach like they did, I think that was very impressive. Also, a big win for Flora, beating Greenwood, a top 10 win in Ken Floyd's debut. I thought it was pretty good. And Corey Jenkins winning his first game as a head coach, former Gamecock QB. They beat Keenan. Now they got to play Flora next week. But good for him. I know he wants to build that program around, turn it back to what it was in the 90s when he was there. But a good start and a good win for him.
What was that Flora Greenwood score? We haven't posted that yet.
I think it was 38-24. Don't have it right in front of me. It was something like that, I believe.
But you got Flora winning, and like you said, that's a terrific win for them against an always good Greenwood program with their new coaching staff at Flora. What about the job that the former coach there did up at Dorman tonight in his first game, getting that big win?
Yeah, Dustin Curtis. Yeah, man. Scoring 63 points against Greenville? We know what Greenville has, and that's a good win. I think Dorman, they're going to be strong up front, obviously, with the 2 D1 guys, Geth and Anderson. But I think if they get good quarterback play, they'll be a factor in 5A. 5A Upper State is going to be loaded, especially if Dutch Fork wins their region. They're going to be in the Upper State for the playoffs. So you throw in Dorman and Spartanburg and Gaffney and Dutch Fork if they win the region. That's going to be a heck of a 5A Upper State playoff.
Let me ask you about one other in the Midlands, the Irmo win over Chapin, 22-11. And it's a real. I understand why kids do it. I'm not second guessing him or criticizing, but boy, it's how much different would Chapin be if they had Bradford back at quarterback this year?
Yeah, definitely. Brady Albro, who's a sophomore, starting. I think he's going to be pretty good, but he's definitely not like Bradford. But they lost a lot. It was more than just Bradford. He lost Galloway, Xavier Short, and Chase Schweigert, and a few other guys. I think they're going to struggle, especially early on. I think Irmo is going to be pretty good. I think A.J. Brand, you're going to hear his name a lot, along with Will Wilson at Richmond Northeast, 2 sophomore quarterbacks. I think could be definitely Division I, if not Power 5 guys by the time they're seniors.
Yeah, and 2 kids who are sons of the head coaches, right?
Yeah, both. Yeah, sons of the head coaches and talented guys. Aaron Brand played in college, and Walt Wilson obviously played in college on the defensive side. But yeah, they're both. They love the game, and they're very. Them and their fathers, they talk a lot football on and off the field.
I can imagine. Lou, we thank you. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you for the contribution. Lou Bajak from the State newspaper and thestate.com with the stories on some of the Midlands area's results tonight. Another Fairfield Central has beaten Carvers Bay big tonight, 62-14, that final score. And Pickens over Crescent, 31-28. Daniel beat Greer, 51-21. We mentioned Catawba Ridge over Fort Mill, 31-7. Just trying to catch up on some of these scores that have been added that we might not have mentioned. Wade Hampton of Hampton defeated Colleton County, 21-7 tonight. And I think we're up to date. Oh, here's another one. St. John's Christian over the Kings Academy, 34-14. Oh, David told us that one. All right, we'll hit the break, and we'll be back.
Weekdays from 7 to 9 on The Point. It's Kev and Brian in the morning. The news, the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to wake you up, topics to make you smile and laugh. Hope you'll join us.
The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107. The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. A British man named one of the Beatles by his captives because of his English accent has been sentenced to life in prison for his role in the deaths of 4 U.S. hostages captured by the Islamic State. Diane Foley, mother of slain journalist James Foley, is pleased with the sentence.
We must have accountability. We must have justice. And with today's verdict, we finally have a bit of justice.
But Foley says President Biden and the country need to work harder to gain the freedom of dozens of others still being held overseas.
The 67 U.S. nationals are counting on you, President Biden, counting on our country. Let us insist that our U.S. passport mean that our government must and will help Americans.
Former Vice President Mike Pence says he did not take any classified information with him when he left office. Pence made the comment during an interview today in Iowa, a week and a half after the FBI seized information and documents at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Another check could be on the way to Ukraine.
Sources say that President Biden is preparing to announce an additional $800 million of aid for Ukraine. Reuters is citing 3 sources who said the announcement could come as early as today. Reportedly, Biden plans to use the Presidential Drawdown Authority to authorize the funding. The U.S. has sent billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine since February. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Meanwhile, a Michigan judge blocked county prosecutors from enforcing a pre-Roe versus Wade abortion ban that would have allowed providers to be charged with a felony. And a divided UN Security Council failed to reach agreement on whether to extend travel exemptions for 13 Taliban officials now ruling Afghanistan. More at townhall.com.
It's ironic. Black people in America are the freest, safest, most prosperous Black people in the history of the world. There is no country in this world that a Black person would rather be. Unless, of course, they grow up in this country. Then they're fed a lie that is so deceptive.
The system in America was never built for Black people.
Racist from the top to bottom, and for Black people to be
They actually believe the opposite of that which is true.
From executive producer Larry Elder and director Justin Malone comes the continuation of their 2020 hit film, Uncle Tom.
It's very clear there was an intention to use Black people to affect change.
Uncle Tom Part 2, An American Odyssey, starring Bodie Bacham, Brandon Tatum, and Chad O. Jackson. Pre-order today on Salem Now.
They will continue to pledge their allegiance in Fargo.
Looks like the Pledge of Allegiance will not be disappearing from school board meetings after all. The Board of Education in North Dakota's most populous city reversing course on its decision to stop reciting the pledge at its monthly meetings. The about face follows complaints from conservative lawmakers, along with an angry outcry from people all across the country. Rich Thomason reporting.
2 small planes collided in Northern California while trying to land at a local airport yesterday. At least 2 of the 3 occupants were killed. A twin-engine Cessna 340 and a single-engine Cessna 152. Apparently on final approach at the same time to Watsonville Municipal Airport shortly around 3 p.m. City-owned airport does not have a control tower to direct landing and takeoffs. NTSB is investigating. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Right now, we all might feel a little disconnected. For seniors living alone with smaller social circles, feelings of loneliness and isolation can feel overwhelming. But there's something we can all do to help. Connect with your older loved one virtually and have the conversation of a lifetime with StoryCorps Connect. Anyone can conduct an interview, and every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history. Connect, honor, share at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh, now you get this.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour number 2 of the high school football scoreboard across the states on the Sports Talk Media Network. Great to have you with us. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut, David Shelton, and Pat Daniel here with you. Friday nights between 10 and midnight. I can't think of a better way to start your weekend, David, than cuddling up with the three of us after a long, hard week of work. And, grab your favorite beverage, hop in your easy chair, turn on the radio or watch the stream. We got to get you on the stream. We got to get that Shelton face on the stream, not just the voice. And just listen to us bring you reporters from across the state, maybe some coaches, and a lot of scores. That's a great way to cap the week before you hit the weekend.
Well, that sounds all good, but I'm not cuddling with you and Pat. So.
Well, I didn't mean for the three of us to actually be touching or anything like that,
Well, you said like they would be cuddling with us, so I thought it was like a group cuddle.
I got you.
And I'm good. I'm good.
Listen, man, I'll give you a big bear hug next time I see you. Before we get back to the reporters and the scoreboards, one thing I want to be able to do every Friday night with you, David, is talk about one team, one cause, which is, something near and dear to your heart because you created it, unfortunately, as a result of what's happened in your life. And you spoke today before you went to cover a game. You spoke to another group of high school youngsters to try to get that message out there to them.
Yeah, I did. It was kind of a last-minute thing. I was invited to go over to Cane Bay and speak to their boys and girls volleyball teams with their varsity and JV. So it was a good many, about 60 kids out there, and it was really good. I got to talk to them about, share my story about what our family has went through with losing 2 sons to drug overdose, including my youngest, which just happened in January. So, but it was very receptive, and I think they were my 30th. I think it was my 30th speech tonight. So I've been able to share 30 times since January. With local high schools and not so local. I've been to Greenwood for their baseball team. I spoke with them and got some more coming up, got some scheduled, and it's just it's just a labor of love now. It has, I know this sounds crazy for people that have known me like you, but it's become a lot more important than Friday night football and everything else. It's just something that I feel like I have to do, and it's going well. I'm very pleased with the response of the school.
Put out the contact information because, as we well know, across the state, we've got high school coaches listening to us. We've got referees listening to us. We've got players and parents listening to us, and somebody might want to reach out to you to have you come speak to their group.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to do it would be visit my website, One Team. That's the number 1 and the number 1 call. So it'd be oneteamonecalls.com. There is a phone number there and an email address. You can just call that number and leave me a message or email me. Tell me where you're from, where you want me to come, and give me a date and a time. I've yet to refuse You know, I've yet to refuse an opportunity to speak, and I will speak to teams, one team, a group of athletes, a lot of teams, the entire school, church groups. It doesn't matter. Anywhere I can get in front of people and just try to share the story and try to convince these kids to think twice before taking the drugs, because I don't know if you follow it like I do, but fentanyl is going crazy in this country right now, and kids are dying at alarming rates, and we just need to, you know, the whole message is before you start, don't ever start, and then we don't have to worry about you dying. And you know, it is a tragic story. It's a very intense 45-minute speech, but it's something that I feel like I got to do, and it's been well received. So I'm going to keep on doing it until one, I can't talk, or I'm not here to do it anymore.
One more thing, David, when you're giving your talk, at what point do you really think you have the kids grasped in your hands, in your words? I mean, you know, sometimes I guess you see them, maybe a kid's, he's looking somewhere else, not really paying attention. But is there a particular message that seems to really catch their attention when, you know, they're really zoned in on what you're saying?
Yeah, I think, and that's interesting, because I kind of noticed that today when I share that my sons were athletes, high school athletes that loved their team and loved going to games and loved competing. And when they become adults, young adults, things changed. I think I got a connection with them, because, I mean, these 10 years ago, my son would have been sitting in that gym listening to some guy talk. So, I mean, he just graduated. He would be entering his senior year. I mean, 10 years ago would have been 10 years ago his senior year. And so I think the fact that he was young and he was real, and then I go through an entire 2-year span where I mean, even you, I mean, people did not know that me and my family were going through what we were going through until Justin actually died. But there's a lot in between that, and I want them to understand that, you know, the worst thing a parent can do is bury a child, and I just try to play on that. I try to explain to those kids, you know, if you love your parent, you will not do something, you will not make that choice that could end your life, because this is something they'll never get over, and I'll never get over it. It's a pain that never goes away, and I've lost siblings, and I've lost mom and dad, but losing my sons is something I'll never get over. So I just try to relay the story and relay the facts, and I don't talk a lot about numbers and stuff, but there are some numbers that these kids need to know, and they need to understand that no drug is safe now. It used to be marijuana might have been safe. It's not safe anymore. Kids are dying from it because of the fentanyl problem. That stuff's coming across our border at crazy rates. So, you know, and it's in South Carolina. It's in every small community in South Carolina. That people don't realize it, but it's there. And so we just try to teach them, just say no. I know that sounds very simplistic, you know, but really that's all you got to do is say no and walk away and live. You know, you have an opportunity to live if you can just say no.
Yeah. Well, one thing we want to do on the scoreboard this year is give you the opportunity every Friday night to remind people across the state and share your message. If you just reach one person on a Friday night, you've done your job, right?
Absolutely. I tell every group I speak to, I said, some of you are going to walk out of this room and not remember a word I said. But those of you that do remember it, when you're approached or when the opportunity presents itself to maybe try a drug or something that you're not sure, that you'll think back to this 56-year-old sports writer and say, you know what, I think I'm going to walk away. And then if that happens, I win. I've won. And that's why it's one team, one cause, because I want everybody to join my team for my cause. I don't care. I know on Friday night, you know, Dorman wants to beat Spartanburg and Gaffney wants to beat Northwestern and Somerville wants to beat Berkeley. But when the game is over, we all have to band together and we have to fight for the same cause as one team. And that's kind of where I came up with that based on, you know, my past in sports. And I think that has allowed me, my history in sports, you know, 35 years doing this, as a sports writer. I think that's opened a lot of doors for me that would not have been opened otherwise.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that you're in a position that you have to do this, but then again, it's a cause that you have now, and you'll be helping people more than you'll probably ever know. You'll be helping people. So we're going to do the best we can to help you get the word out as well. All right. Let's get back to the scores, and let's get back to the reports, and let's go to Garrett Mitchell on hand for Woodruff and Chapman tonight. And the Wolverines open up with a very good win over Chapman in a good ball game tonight. Garrett, great to have you with us, and welcome back to the high school scoreboard.
Well, I'll tell you what, Phil, it is good to be back. It's always a long 9 months waiting for the lights to come back on. But I'll tell you, the folks in attendance in Inman tonight, they got 1 for the money and 2 for the show. And I don't know that anybody expected it to be a defensive ball game because, let's be honest, when's the last time Woodruff and Chapman has ever been known as a defensive contest? But that is exactly what we had tonight. What a game. So let's kind of get to the breakdown. And offensively, it just wasn't much. Chapman, they were the first to break the scoreboard, and that came midway through the second quarter with about 6 minutes to play. Drive that was helped along by a few penalties. They got inside the 10, and quarterback Josiah Moore found Sean Cunningham for a 3-yard touchdown pass in the front left corner of the end zone. The PAT was good, and it was 7-0 Chapman. And the Wolverines, who had kind of struggled to get the running game going to that point, they finally put together a few runs. They made a short change at running back, put Nehemiah Cochran in the backfield, were able to sustain a drive down to the Chapman 19 before Cochran took the handoff and broke through the middle. And that touchdown and resulting point after knotted the score at 7. And that's what it stayed. It was 7-7 at halftime. It was 7-7 at the end of the third and 7-7 at the end of regulation, as both defenses simply were teeing off on each other's offense. So in overtime, the Wolverines got the ball first. It looked like they were perhaps in a precarious position. It was 3rd and goal from the 10. And Chapman was called for a horse collar as Woodruff quarterback Carson Tucker was running out of bounds. So that put Woodruff 3rd down and goal from the 5. Tucker, he's a savvy quarterback. He's a 3-year starter. He found junior DJ Nash in the back right corner of the end zone for the 5-yard score. The PAT was no good, however, so that gave Chapman a chance. But on their first play, Chapman's play was negated by an illegal lineman down the field. And so that backed them up to the 15-yard line. 2 plays later, ultimately it's 4th and goal from the 16. Woodruff is called for a pass interference, which gives Chapman new life. They had it 4th and goal from the 8, one last chance. And Josiah Moore tried to throw one into the back of the end zone, and the aforementioned DJ Nash was there to knock it away. And I tell you what a crowd tonight. The students were into it. And it was just a great high school football game, Phil, and it really harkens back to what I call the golden days of the 70s and 80s when defense ruled the way. And that's exactly what it was. So your final score was Woodruff 13, Chapman 7.
Wow, what a heck of a ball game. And you're right. You don't ordinarily see the two defenses with those teams rising up and stopping one another like that. So defensive coordinators have to feel proud. What's coming up next for Woodruff?
Coming up next, Woodruff, and I hesitate to say going into any ball game that you're going to have a break or it's going to be any easier, but Woodruff travels about 15 minutes up Highway 418 next Friday night to take on the Fountain Inn Fury, and Fountain Inn was defeated by West Oak tonight, 9-6. And so it's a fledgling program. It's only their second year, first varsity season, and they've only got 9th and 10th graders on their roster. And so, one has to figure, I think, going in that Woodruff might have a chance to get some of the younger guys in the game and come away with another win and start the season 2-0.
Very good. While I've got you on the horn, I'm trying to see if I can find a final on a couple of games up your way. Did you have anything on Spartanburg and Langston Hughes, or are they not playing tonight?
Phil, I have not heard whether or not that game was impacted by weather in any way. I have not heard a score. Quite frankly, I'm apologetic to say I was so wrapped up over in Inman that I didn't really check social media much.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say before I turn it over to some other callers, some folks may remember, and even across the state, back in the summer, there was a horrendous accident on I-95 down near the Florida-Georgia state line. and a young lady who was a member of Woodruff's varsity cheer team. She was also a member of our track team, and her mom were their lives were tragically taken by an impaired truck driver in that accident. And this season has been dedicated by our football program to Riley Sloan and her mother. And we're using the hashtag on our social medias, RLR, which stands for Ready Like Riley. This is a family that is rooted deep in their faith. They've endured unspeakable tragedy, and the community has been so incredible rallying around them. The football players came together. They wanted to dedicate this season to Riley Sloan. And so that's where the hashtag Ready Like Riley, RLR, came along. And so it's been incredible to see that tonight. And I have to think there might have been some influence coming down from above, because the Sloan family are big-time Wolverine supporters. And, football, I think, is being used right now as a vehicle to kind of help this community heal.
Oh, there's no question that it can do that, and that's a great gesture by the program, by the school. All right, sir, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week, Garrett.
That sounds great, Phil. You have a great one.
Thank you. All right, Garrett Mitchell, story of the Woodruff win over Chapman. David, how about the way that one played out?
Yeah, I was following that on Twitter. Not sure if it was Garrett's Twitter, but I was being able to follow it, and I too was surprised that it was a defensive struggle, because normally those two teams kind of put points on the board.
They do. What about Spartan High? Are they playing tonight?
I do not think they are. I have not seen. I've been scrolling it all night, and I had not seen a Spartanburg. I haven't seen the word Spartanburg, so yeah. I don't know if they were even scheduled for tonight. It might have been scheduled for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. What about Gaffney? I have not seen a score on
That's
that.
tomorrow.
Gaffney. That is tomorrow. Gaffney South Point playing tomorrow. Okay, all right. Very
good.
That
was scheduled for tomorrow.
And I hate to sound totally ignorant. I usually come across partially ignorant, but totally ignorant. Fountain Inn, is that a new high school up there? Or is that one of those homeschool things, or what is that?
No. It's a.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, they opened last year. They're a break off of Hillcrest.
Okay.
Right up there, right in Fountain Inn. So yeah, but no, this is their first varsity season, but they're playing with a bunch of 9th and 10th graders. They don't have junior, senior class, so but they are playing varsity football.
All right, very good. We have a hot call. You know what that means, David? We have a hot call.
I know who that is.
Can be the only one, the one and only, the only person that we grant hot call status to on the scoreboard. Billy Baker of the High School Sports Report, when he calls in with a hot call, usually means he's standing on the field with the coach. Billy, welcome into the High School Scoreboard. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, David and Phil. We're not on the field, but we are in the coach's office with one of the greatest coaches in South Carolina, in my opinion. Jamie Nichols has played for a state championship 8 times and won 7. And tonight he won his 198th game against 41 losses and 1 tie. And in 2 weeks at home against Southside Christian, there's a strong possibility he'll become one of the fastest coaches in state history, much faster than McKissick, right in line with Jackie Hayes, to win his 200th game in his 19th season as a head football coach. Tonight he's 40-3 over McCormick. And David, check out this stat because you cover this team for us at the High School Sports Report. Abbeville tonight, quarterback Zay Rayford completes 4 of 5 passes for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That does not happen very often. And get this, Abbeville was out their top player, Antonio Harrison, will not return to the team until the middle of October. He ran a 4.4 at a football camp this summer, offered already by Georgia State, getting some looks. So without their best player, they go on the road tonight to McCormick and win 40-3. They went 341 total yards tonight on just 31 plays. The game went to a running the clock in the fourth quarter due to an injury to a player at McCormick, who was on the field for about 20 minutes, a neck injury, but they were able to get his helmet off, and they think he's going to be okay, but it stopped the game for about 20 minutes, and it's 34-3 at the half, but Abbeville looked outstanding, and rushing, Marshall was 6 carries, 61 yards for the Panthers. Hayden was 7 of 50 and a touchdown. The Durant kid at McCormick, his brother's playing at Jacksonville now. NFL hopes to make the club there. He was the only bright spot for the Chiefs, going 72 yards on 16 carries. But one of my favorite coaches, who will probably win his 200th game in his 19th season in 2 weeks, I give you from his office, Jamie Nichols. Here he is.
Okay, one of our favorites too.
Billy hasn't seen our non-region schedule. We play Powdersville, Southside Christian, and Westside, and so it may be.
Hey,
it may be winning 30 before we break that streak.
Let me tell you, congratulations. It's great to have you with us. But you know what Billy's doing? He tied you in with John McKissick. He's looking to write a book one day. Okay, so get ready to fight him for the book rights. Okay.
People don't understand what a legend that guy was when you do this as long as that man did, and just so many. But no, I'm really proud of our team. Let me make one comment. Billy put me in to where I could hear David's speech, and I have a son at the Citadel, and David's already making an impact. He's making an impact on that football team at the Citadel. He had spoke to them in their camp. They're still in camp right now, but hats off to David, and our prayers go out to him, and definitely prayers go out to this McCormick kid who hurt his neck tonight. We feel like he's going to be okay, but you just never know about those type injuries. But Antonio Harrison for us suffered a partially torn ACL back in March playing AAU basketball. Our doctors called it physicals, and we got him in, got his surgery done. Hopefully, we don't know. We will not know if we'll get him back or not. But, Georgia State had been knocking on the door. They really liked him and some other folks or whatever. But he's a tremendous talent, probably one of the top 15 skill guys in the state. Who can play DB. You can plug him at DB and then hand him the ball, and he does pretty good with that too. But that's kind of where we are. And right now, struggling to replace him is going to be a process. We really struggled. McCormick was game. The Durant kid really put on a show early, running the ball against us. But we tightened down, held them to a field goal, and then they were playing us with 8 in the box, David. So in field. So I mean, heck, even Abbeville thought then.
You're not that stupid, right?
I've never been called smart, but every now and then when you see 8 of them, 9 of them creeping up there, you got to throw it a little bit. And but I'll give our offense coordinator, Gil Cade, who came in here from BHP this year, he does a good job. And our assistant head coach, BB Belton, those guys kind of took a series or two to figure it out. But yeah, I was really impressed with our offense tonight.
Coach, congratulations on everything. Best of luck. We appreciate you being with us tonight. We'll certainly be talking to you again soon, maybe on the night of number 200, if not sooner.
Well, y'all take care of Billy for me now. He's been in my hip pocket all day around town. So y'all take care of him for me.
You got it, sir. I'm telling you, he wants to write a book. Be careful. He wants to get a book out there on you. All right, there you go. Thank you, Billy. Hot call, Billy Baker and Coach Jamie Nichols. I think we need to squeeze in a break here very quickly. I know it won't sound great, but to keep us on time, Pat, can we hit a break real quick here? Or you tell me. Okay, let's hit the break here real quick. I know we'll have back-to-back breaks with the hard break coming up, but we need to get our break in for our great sponsors, Founders Federal Credit Union and others, and we'll be right back.
Founders Federal Credit Union knows your life is busy and your money is important. We are proud to offer local personalized services and convenient online services like Founders Online and the Founders app. You'll love being with us as much as we love serving you. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax, win with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
If you're looking to stay hydrated this summer, turn toward a southern favorite, sweet South Carolina watermelons. One slice is equivalent to a glass of water and is just as effective as sports drinks for hydration. If you don't believe us, you can ask the Palmetto State's top football teams. The SC Watermelon Association will be serving up slices after summer practice to keep our teams fueled and hydrated. Visit scwatermelon.org for all the details and look for ripe South Carolina watermelons in your hometown.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. Futurescholar.com.
All right, not a whole lot of time before we have to take a hard break here at the bottom of the hour. So we'll continue with our scores. We'll continue with our reports and maybe talk to another coach or so. And, of course, more from David as he breaks things down for us here in the next little bit. So stay with us here on the high school football scoreboard across the state on the Sports Talk Media Network, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Back in a moment.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me. Your handy chains dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. The White House planning to host a summit next month aimed at combating what they say is hate-fueled violence in the U.S. The United We Stand event will kick off September 15th and feature a keynote address by President Biden. Invited guests will include civil rights groups, faith leaders, law enforcement, along with former members of violent hate groups and victims of hate-motivated violence. The United States is sending an additional $775 million in military aid to Ukraine. The stash includes 15 surveillance drones, 40 mine-resistance vehicles, 2,000 anti-armor rounds, and howitzer weapons. Defense Department officials say the assistance is aimed at helping Ukrainian forces regain territory and mount a counteroffensive against Russian invaders. And Russia's state-owned energy company Gazprom is shutting off the Nord Stream 1 pipeline for 3 days for routine maintenance. SRN News.
I've been talking about the people at Stone Interiors from the very beginning. They did the incredible granite counters, the beautiful granite tabletop in my home. Our kitchen is our focal point of our house. The countertops are just gorgeous. When I talk about a local company with tremendous ethics, great workmanship, someone who sees a project through from start to finish, I'm describing Stone Interiors. So have you thought about some granite or marble countertops? What about a backsplash in your kitchen? You want to retile that bathroom? Did you know you can actually go online to stoneinteriors.com, go through their visualizer software, and design your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom project? It is so cool. If that's not for you and you want to visit their showroom, they'd love to have you come out and visit at Stone Interiors, or they can even come to you when it's convenient. For more than 20 years, Stone Interiors has done this thing the right way. Call them 461-8950 to make an appointment, or visit them at stoneinteriors.com. That's 461-8950 or stoneinteriors.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Fran Halloran here. Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago, 8 years ago to be exact, that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local to partner with him in 2022 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. So can you find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody. The high school football scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Week 0 across the state of South Carolina. That's right. Those of us who follow high school football on this night, David Shelton, we're just a bunch of zeros.
Speak for yourself, brother.
Well, somebody who is, I tell you what, we'll get to Chris Deering in just a moment. Chris, hang on, man. We want to get your report on Camden Myrtle Beach, but I don't want to keep the next person in line holding. This is a great night. We just heard from Jamie Nichols, who's closing in on 200 wins, and Billy Baker evoked the name of John McKissick. There we go. He evoked the name of John McKissick in the conversation and all his 600 and something wins. We welcome in somebody who got win number 1 tonight at Dreher High School, former Gamecock, former NFL linebacker, coaching at his alma mater. Coach Corey Jenkins joins us here on the scoreboard. It is an honor for us to have you on the night you get number 1. Congratulations. Welcome in.
Oh, guys, thank you guys for having me, man. I truly appreciate you guys having me on, and it's been a pretty good night so far.
I bet. How's it feel? I mean, to look at your resume, your record, and see 1 on the left side of the ledger.
Well, I tell you, it's been a long time coming. And, the guys played good and, they played hard and, we're a different type of team. And it's, I saw them fighting tonight and I saw what we went through all summer. We started 2 months behind everybody. We didn't get the winter workout session start until March, and so January and February, there was no football stuff done, no lifting done, so we started off 2 months behind and we got into the summer and we tried to do some things then and got a little bit better and and camp came and we got going and then now just to see these guys go out and fight and work hard and not give up and get this win is huge for myself and this team.
And that's a good win. I mean, Keenan's become a pretty difficult group over there. This is just not a walkover win for you.
Oh, those guys, they played their behinds off as well. They are a scrappy bunch, and it was a scrappy game, and I was just glad the ball could have went either way tonight, and I was just glad it bounced our way, and we're 1-0 right now.
Yeah. In your mind, what made the difference for your team in this game? Who kind of stood out? What was the difference in the game for you?
Well, I felt like we were in pretty good shape. We had some guys cramping up, not understanding the importance of hydration, but I think they do now. But I think we, one thing I harped on during the summer and during camp and, workouts is what are you going to do when something bad happens? And how are you going to respond when you're feeling a little tired and you're feeling a little beat up? What are you going to do? How are you going to respond to it? And I think, we worked on that all summer. I put them in tough situations all summer and it paid off tonight. So, hopefully we can carry it on into next week.
David Shelton, you have a question or two for Coach Corey Jenkins.
Yeah, just hearing Corey talk as a coach just kind of tells me how freaking old I am because I covered that guy when he played in the Shrine Bowl, for God's sake. But yeah, Corey. I mean, obviously, getting the first one it makes Monday practice so much easier because you see the fruits of your labor. But this is a rebuild that's going to take some time. How do you, as a coach, kind of pace yourself with the understanding of, you're not going to win every game this year. I know that's the goal, but you've got some work to do. And how do you plan to build the program from basically the ground up?
Well, it just like with anything else in life, you got to crawl before you walk, and you got to walk before you run. And we know it's a building process. We're going to go out every week, every Friday, and try to win every single game. We know we're going to face some obstacles. We know it's going to be tough. But I always tell people, they say it's going to take you 3 or 4 years to get it going. When kids buy in, man, it's unbelievable what they will do for you and how they will do it. And I think I got a group that has bought in pretty dang on good. And it shows tonight. Now, will we reach some obstacles and go through some obstacles throughout the season? Of course we will. Every team does. But I just think that's something to build on, and we're going to get better and better each week. And, year by year, we're going to continue to grow. But I understand people say you got to rebuild here and you got to rebuild there. You know what? You get what you get. The guys you have are the guys you have. You coach them the best you can, and you go out and play football the best you can and just go from there.
Well said.
That is fantastic. Corey, we want to congratulate you, man. I hope that we're still here when you get around 200 W's there at Dreer.
I hope I'm still here, 200 W's.
If we're still here, we'll be taking our teeth out of our mouth during the breaks to put them in the jar and then sticking them back in. But good luck next week, and we'll be talking to you throughout the season. We appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate having me on, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Corey Jenkins, first win. That's just neat, David. That's just neat to have him on the night of his first victory.
Yeah, and like I said, I can remember the guy when he played. It's just amazing. When I hear guys like Corey on the radio and their head football coaches, I just start thinking back. God, I've been doing this for 35 years. This is crazy.
He was such a great athlete, started out professionally in baseball and then made his way over to football and ended up playing professional football. So what an athlete he was. Okay, speaking of great athletes, let's welcome in Chris Deering as he joins us here on the program, and we welcome him back once again to give us coverage of games primarily around the Midlands area of South Carolina. And welcome in, sir. You were at a big-time game tonight, Camden and Myrtle Beach. Anything in particular surprise you about the way this one turned out?
Well, you hear those two names of Camden and Myrtle Beach, and you really expect a close, hard-fought game, but Camden sort of ran away with things there in the second half. Myrtle Beach was missing some pieces tonight. Their starting quarterback was out, so they had to play their backup. But it was a 21-13 ball game, middle of the third quarter. And then Camden just scored on 3 straight possessions to end things out and come away with a big 42-13 win. Grayson White, the quarterback for Camden, he's being recruited as a defensive linebacker type kid, but he's playing quarterback for Camden for the second straight year. He threw for 3 touchdown passes and ran for 2 more, had 230 yards passing and 137 yards rushing. So not a bad night for a 245-pound quarterback.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. But that Camden defense is touted as one of the better ones in South Carolina again this year. And Xavier McLeod just committing to South Carolina yesterday. He is a load. How did he look to you? What'd you like, maybe dislike, if anything, about his style, his performance out there tonight?
But the thing I really liked is he sort of, he took away the middle for Myrtle Beach. They couldn't really run the ball up the middle. They were trying to get to the outside, and that didn't really work either. The one thing I do think he needs to improve on that I saw tonight, and he had to come out of the game a couple of times, is he's got to get in a little bit better shape. And I think he would tell you that if you ask him. But he ran around a couple of times, chasing the quarterback, chasing running backs, and he has to come out of the game. And to be the dominant guy that everybody wants him to be, he's got to come in and play every down, But he did miss some time tonight because I think he just got winded.
Before we let you go, you of course are writing for the South Carolina, or also known as the Prep Red Zone Network here in South Carolina. Prep Red Zone Network. You and Ian Garrett and others around the state. How is that going for you guys? How much are you enjoying covering high school sports with that group?
Oh man, that's great. You look at myself, Ian, Jed Blackwell. That's a lot of years of experience. I know you were talking about how old you feel with Corey Jenkins. Yeah, I covered Corey Jenkins in high school too. So we're all pretty old now. But we got a great group of guys. Expecting an announcement, next week. We might be adding a new person to the list that might make it even a little bit better. So looking forward to that as well. But it's been great. I do got to do one other plug. I've sort of taken over some Nicola Daly stuff for the high school reporting. So you can find my coverage there. Prep Red Zone. Tonight I work for Maori News. I'm the ultimate free agent. So
Well, David, we can all relate to that. But I'll tell you something funny. I saw a tweet today about somebody tweeted something about the show on the ACC network, TV network, I guess, and a couple of the new hosts that they're bringing in there along with Packer. And this guy tweeted something like, "The days of the old white man on television shows, on sports shows, is dead." And I think about the three of us and others, and I'm like, I hope that's not true. I hope we can reach out across all lines there and entertain people and inform them, no matter what your race happens to be. So I think I look at the three of us and hope that we can reach across those lines, so to speak.
I think the three of us do a pretty good job. We still can relate to all kinds, young, old. It don't matter. We can relate to everybody.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you joining us. We'll look for you every week from somewhere around the Midlands area of South Carolina. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You guys do the same thing.
Thank you. All right. One old white man to another. David, speaking of old white men, Myrtle Beach High School, not used to seeing them offensively off to this kind of a start. Do they have the potential of getting it straightened out and getting back to their high-powered ways?
Well, I mean, I think this is going to be the toughest year they've had in many years. Now, they do have some players. Probably for the backup quarterback, you're not going to go into Camden and beat Camden. You might not beat Camden with your full complement of players because they're pretty good. But that region is going to be very tough for them. They could easily be fourth in that region, if not fifth, and miss the playoffs. Because I think Wilson's better. You got Hartsville and South Florence and West Florence that are all top 10 ranked teams right now, and so it's not Myrtle Beach and everybody else anymore. It's everybody else. And then Myrtle Beach, where they fit into that, we'll have to see how the season progresses, and they're going to get better as they go. I mean, Mickey Wilson's a hell of a coach, and they're going to get better as they go. And but this was probably a big ask to go to Camden with your backup quarterback and missing the people they missed from last year. You got to remember Adam Randall was lining up out there last year, catching balls all over the field, and Ryan Berger was quarterback, and he's at App State. So this is a different group, but they're going to be okay. I mean, I'm not ready to count them out yet, but I know it's going to be this will be a more difficult season than maybe it has been in recent years.
And what do you think of what do you think of the McLeod kid and his potential at South Carolina?
I kind it was funny when Chris said that. I looking at stuff that I've looked at lately, he's got to get in better shape. He's a big guy, but I mean, I don't know that you want that guy playing at 330, 340. I think he's got to get in better shape, and I think he will. But I think he's got a chance to make an impact. But we put so much on these kids to be the savior. You remember a guy named Zach Pickens was a
Mhm.
5-star, and it took him until really last year to really kind of become an impact player. I mean, he played, but he was not like this big. I mean, a lot of people are going, "Where's Zach Pickens? Is he in the program?" But now he's at that point. So I think we got to be careful. These high school kids coming in, that's a big adjustment. And so I think down the road, Xavier McLeod's going to be a really good football player, possibly a guy that plays on Sunday. But I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit right now. And as Chris said, he get in a little better shape where he can play more downs. Because if you can't get in shape at Camden High School, you have a hard time getting in shape in the SEC. So I think that'll happen as the season goes on. And but he has all the tools, all the measurables, all the talent, the explosiveness, the intensity, all that kind of stuff. So let's give him time and let's see how it works out for him in a couple of years.
All right, let's hit a break, and we'll come back and take you through the scoreboard one final time, get some final thoughts from David on some of the key games as well. We've pretty much got a complete scoreboard, got a couple of missing scores here and there, assuming that these teams play tonight. Perhaps they were postponed, and we haven't received notification of that. But we'll give you everything that we've got on the score sheets here coming up after the break, as we put a bow on this first edition of the high school scoreboard for 2022. And like we always say, David, blink an eye and we'll be in the playoffs in November. It moves very, very quickly once we get past these first couple of weeks and get into a rhythm. Okay, we'll be back after the break.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at ExperienceColumbiaSC.com.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
All right, let's take you through the scores one final time on this first Friday night of the high school football scoreboard here in South Carolina. Phil Kornblut, David Shelton, and Pat Daniel with you tonight. And as soon as I find where my scoreboard got off to, I'll start to go over the scores. David, as we've talked about things all night, what has stood out the most to you? What thing has kind of grabbed your attention the most so far tonight?
Well, I think Northwestern's performance obviously grabbed my attention. I grabbed everybody's attention. You scored 13 straight possessions. You're having a pretty good night. I think Dorman made a really nice statement against a really good Greenville High team. I think you'll see at the end Greenville High is going to be in the hunt for 4A, and Dorman rushing for 370 yards was a pretty big night for them. And then honestly, I'm looking kind of forward to tomorrow to see how that Gaffney South Point game comes out and the South Lawrence Goose Creek game that I was supposed to cover, and I'll do it tomorrow. But kind of looking to see how those games come out.
Yeah, you know what? Aren't you bummed out that, I mean, I know you love covering high school football, but aren't you bummed out that your Saturday is now going to be occupied?
No, no, I'm not. If you know my life, Phil,
Mhm.
I was looking for something to do tomorrow. Now I got something to do.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, here we go from the upstate, across the state, and Skeeza scores. This is what we've got. We've got Buford 41, Blacksburg 6, Blue Ridge 42, Chesney 37, Powdersville 47, Broome 23, Burns 62, Brooklyn Casey 7. We've got Northside Christian 22, Calhoun Falls 7, Liberty 17, Carolina 6 in overtime, Woodruff 13, Chapman 7. Do not have a Lancaster Chester score. If anybody's got one, give us a call, 888-898-2525. Or if they didn't play, let us know. Clinton over Batesburg Leesville, 55-20. Pickens 31, Crescent 28. Daniel 51, Greer 21. Dorman 53, Greenville 28. Catawba Ridge 31, Fort Mill 7. West Oak 9, Fountain Inn 6. Heathwood Hall 43, Great Falls nothing. Hillcrest 41, Lawrence 7. J.O. Man 56, Eastside 14. Spartanburg, Langston Hughes of Georgia play tomorrow. Abbeville 40, McCormick 3. Indianland 25, Nation Ford 8. Emerald 35, 96-28. Northwestern 89, Rock Hill 13. Palmetto 27, Woodmont 14. Pendleton 41, Dixie 9, Riverside 61, Travelers Rest 21. Commerce of Georgia 21, Southside Christian 17. Gaffney South Point play tomorrow. St. Joseph's 43, Fox Creek 7, TL Hanna 43, Boiling Springs nothing. Seneca 42, Wade Hampton 19, Whitmire 16, Ware Shoals 6, and Charlotte Country Day over Legion Collegiate 42-7. Around the Midlands, it was AC Florida 38, Greenwood 24, Swansea 19, Airport 6. Nothing in on Rich Spring Manetta, Augusta Christian if they played. Let us know. 888-898-2525. Bamberg Earhart 34, Edisto nothing. Pelion 47, Bethune-Bowman 22. Cross and Calhoun County will play tomorrow. Camden 42, Myrtle Beach 13. C.A. Johnson 22, Columbia 6. Evans, Georgia 16, North Augusta 7. Fairfield Central 62, Carvers Bay 14. Dutch Fork 27, Huff, North Carolina 24. Scotts Branch 26, Hunter Connor Tyler 16. Irmo 22, Chapin 11. It was Dreer 29, Keenan 22. Lucy Beckham 24, Lake Marion nothing. Lakeside, Georgia 32, Aiken nothing. Sumter 42, Lakewood 9. Laney, Georgia 16, Strom Thurmond nothing. River Bluff 42, Lugoff Elgin 13. Grovetown of Georgia 43, Midland Valley 17. Union County 30, Newberry 14. Richland Northeast 29, Crestwood 27. It was Ridgeview 21, Blythewood 14, Saluda 42, Mid Carolina 7. South Aiken 36, Silver Bluff 14. Spring Valley 36, Westwood 18. Nothing on Allendale, Fairfax, Wagner, Sally. If you got a score, let us know. 888-898-2525. White Knoll 21, Orangeburg, Wilkinson 12. And Barnwell 47, Williston, Elko 6. PD Grand Strand, Philip Simmons 17, Andrews 8 in overtime. Wilson 27, Ainer 26. Carolina Forest 56, West Brunswick, North Carolina 27. Hartsville 41, Conway 17. Louisville 44, East Clarendon nothing. Johnsonville 39, North Central 8. Lake City 20, Lawrence Manning 7. Marion 58, Lakeview 14. Nothing in on Chesterfield and Lee Central. Loris 24, Green Sea Floyd's nothing. McMee 19, Hanapampico 14. West Florence 31, Lexington 28. To be played tomorrow, you got Lamar Hemingway, Manning King Street, Socastee North Myrtle Beach, Waccamaw St. James, and Latta remains undefeated for another night. They'll play Mullins tomorrow. So the winning streak continues there. In the Low Country, nothing in on Stratford and Avon of Ohio. David, you heard anything on that one?
Yeah, they got into the second quarter down 7-0, and then the Storms hit Orlando, and they had to cancel the game.
It's been
so they
canceled.
drove all the way to Orlando to play a quarter.
Oh, wow. All right, nothing on Beach, Georgia, and Bluffton. I imagine that one might have got rained out as well. Branchville, Dorchester Academy, nothing. Estill beat Ridgeland Hardyville 30-0. New Hampstead of Georgia 47, May River 27. Wade Hampton of Hampton 21, Colleton County 7. To be canceled games, Georgetown Hanahan, Denmark Oler First Baptist, Stall Burke, and Cane Bay Beaufort. Saturday, South Florence Goose Creek, James Island St. John's, North Charleston Military Magnet, Oceanside and Gray, Timberland and Berkeley, and Lower Richland West Ashley, and Monday, Porter Goud and Bishop England. And Esquiza, Ben Lippen 48, Asheville Christian 19, Lawrence Academy 56, Augusta Eagles 38, Bethesda Academy 8, Hilton Head Prep 7, Calhoun Academy 33, Conway Christian 6, Colleton Prep 26, Florence Christian 8, Patrick Henry 33, Cross Schools nothing, and Beaufort Academy 41, Pinewood Prep 20. Thank you, David Shelton and Pat Daniel, and thanks to all of you tonight. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
The only afternoon local talk radio in Columbia is the Afternoon Drive with Kev. It's all about you. It's your phone calls. It's my challenging topics. All the